Hi everyone, welcome back to Eleanor's Restoration. It's been a while since I've said that. It's been a while since I've done work on the shell. It's been filmed for you guys. More recently I've replaced one of the rear wheel arches. I've got a few finishing touches to do, but I'm pretty much finished that. So what I'm going to be doing in this video is I'm going to be doing the other side to show you guys how I've done it, and hopefully to give anyone some tips on how to or how not to do it, depending on how you look at it. So let's jump straight into the shell. I'll explain what I'm going to do, what I'm taking off, and we'll take it from there. It's good to be back working on Eleanor. I've been doing other cars etc. in the nice weather. Eleanor's indoors, so I can do her whatever weather, so the winter months my main focus will be Eleanor, so I can crack on. So onto the car, onto the shell. This is the rear wheel arch that I will be replacing. It's the rear left hand side. Now it's important to know how it's attached to the rest of the car, where it's attached to the rest of the car, and what method. So you've got the two methods that it's attached with, predominantly spot welds, and there's also stitch welds. So when I'm replacing this, I'll be doing a like for like, because I've got both a spot welder and a MIG welder. And I've learnt from the other side a certain order to do it in, just to make it that bit easier for yourself. I've learnt some areas I need to take a bit more caution with, because I'm not replacing those panels. And yeah, it's just important at this stage to take the time to know what you're doing so that you're not going to get tripped up. So I'm going to have a look at the top side of this first, flip the car over, look at the bottom side. I'm going to go over how each area is attached. So this first bracket here is the wheel arch to boot floor bracket, and it's attached through the bottom part here to the boot floor, and through this flange and this flange here to the wheel arch. This has a new heritage panel to go on, which you can see here. This is attached to the boot floor through this flange, and that's spot welded. These two flanges here and here are attached to the wheel arch, and these are stitch weld along there and along there. So that covers the front part. The rear part, which I have covered in previous videos, get this out of the way, is the rear bump stop, and this is attached to the boot floor by the two flanges here and here by stitch welds, and it's also attached by this flange here, one tucked away here, by stitch welds to the arch. The only other thing I have in the boot is the attachment for the rollover jig. Now this is going to be very handy because it's going to help me line it up when I put the new panel on. So from inside the car, the flange from the back panel goes around the top of the arch here and all the way down the side here. That's attached with numerous spot welds all the way along and up. Now this bit on the other side I found the hardest. Easy enough taking off the spot welds, but trying to maintain this flange, it's very thin, and trying to keep it in good condition to reuse it with the other one was quite difficult. So this part here, I'm going to take a lot of time getting it off, because I know it'll make it easier at the other end. With the car spun around, we can see here a bit more of what condition the arch is in and how it's attached. So this flange all the way around here is all attached by spot welds, so they will need to be drilled out. I don't have to do this because I've replaced the boot floor, so it's only attached by clamps. Then takes us to the front of the car here. There is a closing panel which closes off the rear arch to the floor. Now I'll be covering that later on when I replace the floor and quarter panels and various other parts, so I'm not going to go into that at the moment. When I take this out, it's going to be slightly different to if you're just replacing the arch, because I've, like I say, replaced the boot floor. I'm going to be replacing the quarter panel, so I don't have to be as careful when I'm taking some of the parts off. And that's what based my decision on the way I've taken it out. So bear that in mind when you're watching this. I'm doing it to suit how I'm restoring the car. Everyone will have their different ways and methods. First thing I'm going to do, I've got a little tack weld on here, is just break that with the grinder. So next I'm going to break the welds on this flange here and this flange here. I'm not too fussed if I damage the wheel arch or the bracket because they're both getting replaced, so my one concern will be the floor. As you can see, as I'm finding with the whole of the rear end on the Mini, access is my problem because you struggle to get by the jig here to get one, a good view, and two, in with good access, but I will fight my way through it. So yeah, break this and then I can move on to the inside of the car. So yeah, it's not pretty, but the floor is untouched. I can't get in here, you probably see with the angle grinder, so I can do stuff when it's upside down. The reason I'm not taking this off at the moment is because I wanted to hold the subframe to the floor while it's lining things up. So I'm happy with the boot area. I can work my way around this part I can't actually reach from the underside. So there's not much room to put a camera here, in fact there's no room at all, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to clean all this back here and this flange here, drill out the spot welds, and I'll come back to you once they've all been drilled out. With a chisel and screwdriver it's now all unpicked, and here. The only thing I think will give me problems is, you can be able to see it, but under here there's a sealer and it feels like there's weld or something, or a bond joining the underside of here to the wheel arch, so I might have to cut that once I've got the car swiveled round. But as far as this bit goes, that's it. I can now spin it upside down and start getting this cut out. Car spun upside down again, so I'm going to remove the bolt that attaches it to the jig, but because I've done that, I've given it some support underneath, just with a block of wood and a trolley jack, because obviously I'm taking this off that's supporting a lot of the weight of the car, so it just gives it extra support with that. What I'm going to do with this bit here, bearing in mind this is I'm replacing the rear quarter panel, I'm not too fussed about any of this getting damaged, but I also want this lip to be flat so that I can line the new wheel arch up with it. So what I'm going to do is cut along here with an angle grinder. Once that's cut, I can then get a flap disc and basically grind the top layer of the wheel arch off, leaving the quarter panel underneath. Then it'll need a little bit of finessing, and that should be it, ready to come out. So that's it ready to come out. It's going to need a few bits cut because it's still sticking on a few bits. One at the back here and one up here on the companion bin. So angle grinder, cut a couple of bits and then it should be ready to lift out. So this bit gave me a bit of a problem. It was not wanting to let go here, not wanting to let go here, and the worst bit was probably here. I decided just to sacrifice the companion bin because it's getting replaced. And yeah, that's it off. So what I did mention is I was going to grind this back because I want this to be lined up correctly, albeit it's getting replaced. So I'm going to just grind all this back, get rid of all sort of the excess wing there, and yeah, I'll come back once that's done. So I've cleaned up the flanges. This one has all been cut away, meaning that it's left a flange for the wheel arch to be clamped to. This has all been wire brushed back, and the actual underside of the back panel has been cleaned. So I'm going to fit in the new panel because I need to mark up where this goes on the actual wheel arch so that I can take the paint off, which makes it weld better. And I can get it all off and I can start getting this all coated with zinc primer, and I can get the wheel arch prepared for paint and going back in for its final fitting. But let's get this fitted first and see how it's looking. What I've done there is just marked up this so that I can take the paint off here and here, because the back panel will be getting plug welded onto this, and that's the mistake I made on the other side, was not taking this paint off, so it was a bit harder getting penetration through the paint. So I've learnt this time. So zinc primer all the way around the flanges, and underneath here body colour just to protect that, because obviously that's covered once the wheel arch is welded in. So all the prep work's done on the shell and all the prep work's done on the arch. Basically sanded off all the flanges that are going to make contact and have to be spot welded because they need to be clear from paint. So flange here, all the way around here, this is where the back panel goes. Inside, this doesn't need to be painted because I can do that later on, I will have access to do that. So as you can see, it's all ready just to be fitted on here. So I'm going to get it in place and I'm going to get it bolted onto the jig, and that'll hold it nice and secure, and I can then get the clamps on. So without even clamping it yet, all I've done is tighten this bolt down. You can see it's a pretty good line up. Clamps will obviously clamp that and bring that really close together. I have to say it's a lot better fit at this stage than the other side was. So yeah, what I'm going to do now is get death by clamps put on it, get it all clamped up, and see how it's looking then. I'll just give you a look around the seams. I will put a few more clamps in here when I'm spot welding it, and as a spot weld I'll take it off because it has to be a good seal and a good fit. But yeah, I'll give you a look round. I've still got more to add in. When I'm spot welding I'll add some more in here to bring that a bit tighter. And if we go in the car, this bit's important as well. The flanges up here, these will be tapped flat and against it, but really good fit, so I'm really happy with that. I don't have it for this side, but the closing panel always worked as well at this stage. Just ignore this G-clamp, that's holding something in alignment. Yeah, the closing panel as well, you can put in here test fit, make sure it fits up with this, and on here. Like I said, for me, I've not got the part yet, and I couldn't have fitted it here anyway because it's been hacked to bits. So next step is getting some more clamps in between and start getting this spot welded up. The spot welder, I can only do certain bits. Same with the other side, I couldn't get in here because it obstructs on the subframe, so I'll do what I've done on the other side, I'll do what I can, and then once I take the subframe off, once I'm happy everything's where it should be, I'll then go back and I'll do the 1 or 2 spot welds that I couldn't get access to. And spot weld all the way along. That's as many spot welds as I can get in there at the moment. Like I say, this bit here and this bit round here, I can't get till the subframe's out, but it's a good seal. Once I've got the full access, I'll go around in any areas I think I need more in, I'll do that. But that's as much as I can do on this side at the moment. I now need to spin the car around again and I can plug weld the rear panel onto the arch. And this is the lip from inside the car. Keep saying it, but it's a lot better fit than the other side. A good seal here where it's been spot welded. So with this, obviously there's a little gap there, and this is to be plug welded through because I've not got the arms for the spot welder that would go this far. And to do this, I've got a little hammer, just by tapping it flat and getting it as flat as I can. I'll go away and I'll come back once it's tapped. And a big difference just with a couple of minutes tapping flat. Right, I'm going to go in, plug weld this, get it cleaned up, get some seam sealer on, and I'll come back. It's what you've seen before, basic plug welding. It's quite awkward because this is thin metal, this is new metal, so it's getting the right balance. This wheel arch is now at the same stage as this one. Not quite finished, I've still got a few things to do to them both, and the reason I can't do it at the moment is because I need to remove or replace some other panels first. So, still to be done to both. This support bracket here needs spot welded along here and here, and it needs seam welded here and here. The bracket at the back needs a bit of seam weld or stitch weld on here, and in the back here, but I'm going to do that once I've got more access, because me trying to fit in there at the moment, not happening. Finally, this, when the new quarter panel goes on, has to be spot welded all the way along here. So bit by bit I will get it replaced, and like always I will keep you guys along for the journey. I'll end that one there. I'll take you through the next stage of my journey in the next video, so if you want to see that, if you like the content, if you learn things, if you enjoy just me in the garage, then please like, subscribe, comment and get involved. That's part of the reason I love YouTube, is the interaction. So thanks for watching, take care, and I'll see you in the next video. Cheers!